Mr. Speaker, sir, thank you for the opportunity to speak on this bill. It is a timely one, with better clarity and provisions made on the parking of vehicles in public places. I support the overall recommendations made in the amendment bill. However, I have a few clarifications to make and one suggestion to offer. First, I wholly support the inclusion of Part 3 that introduces the new sections 8 to 8T. These sections provide better clarity on the various provisions made in Part 3 relating to public parking places, licensing requirements, and enforcement actions, which are much needed. Residents I met have expressed their frustrations with shared vehicles and bicycles that have dotted the void decks and green spaces in our estate. Personally, I have also had to maneuver through obstacle courses made up of indiscriminately parked bicycles at the void decks, including that in my own block. However, I wish to clarify if these provisions and restrictions apply only to vehicle hiring operators and users or hirers of shared vehicles such as bicycles or personal mobility devices, PMDs, and not to private owners of similar vehicles. At the moment, there is still no requirement for private bicycles or PMD owners to register ownership of such vehicles, and if they also indiscriminately park their vehicles in public places, then no enforcement action can be taken on them. Are there plans to require private bicycle or PMD owners to be registered so that proper monitoring of indiscriminate parking and subsequent enforcement can be carried out? Second, while the amendments in this bill seek to rein in on the licensing requirements of the operators of shared vehicles in order to bring about greater responsibility towards the hiring of shared vehicles, how will the users or hirers of such shared vehicles also be made to shoulder equal responsibility in the use and parking of these shared vehicles? What enforcement actions can be taken on errant or irresponsible users or hirers of shared vehicles? And since there are numerous users or hirers of shared vehicles, will monetary fines be the only form of enforcement to be meted out to irresponsible users for indiscriminate parking? Would LTA consider imposing compulsory community work on repeat offenders, for instance? Third, the requirement for geofencing of a shared vehicle operator's vehicles has been made known to the operators for quite some time, yet no adherence to this requirement has been made and little or no enforcement carried out. Hence, for the shared vehicle operators, how does LTA plan to impose the standards of performance, such as the use of geofencing technology or monetary fines to minimize or eradicate indiscriminate parking of the shared vehicles under their license? Will vehicle docking systems, for instance, be imposed on these operators should they fail to comply with the requirements for proper parking of the shared vehicles, such as through the use of geofencing technology? Will current LTA enforcement officers be sufficient to carry out checks to ensure adherence to the required standards of performance by the shared vehicle operators, or will more enforcement officers need to be recruited? Finally, I would like to suggest that for places or buildings where there are absolutely no designated parking lots for motorcycles, some flexibility is to be accorded to dispatch riders and food deliverers who usually move about on motorcycles or PMDs. To elaborate, when such dispatch riders or food deliverers need to deliver whatever items assigned as part of their job at these buildings or places, they would park their vehicles at a spot in a public area while they go about delivering the items as assigned, since there are no designated parking lots for motorcycles there. Examples of such buildings are DBS Building, Marina Bay Sands and Novena Hospital, from what I understand, though I may stand corrected. Can LTA work with the management of such private developments to provide designated interim parking lots for dispatch riders and food deliverers to park their motorcycles or PMDs for free for a period of no more than 10 to 15 minutes so that they would not get parking offence summonses and would not obstruct traffic or pedestrian access? These dispatch riders and food deliverers can be given vehicle stickers or decals that clearly indicate they are delivering items as assigned as part of their job, and some leeway can be given to them to park their vehicles at these interim parking lots during such work assignments. Mr. Speaker, notwithstanding the clarifications I put forth and the suggestion posited, I support the bill.